Dr. Didar Singh, Arvind, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last 15 minutes of an important meeting that you've had today, and I congratulate those who've had the stamina to stay till the end, and I won't burden you too much longer, 10 minutes. India is at a point where yourselves, as people who are vested emotionally, and if not invested even money-wise in this country, are concerned about whether India. We know there's potential, or we believe there's potential, and we care about the country too. But it's not at the moment in a place where everyone is very certain about what's going to happen and whether it's all going to be good things that will happen. So here we are. I'm in the Planning Commission. I've been there last 5 years. And one of the things that the Planning Commission does, or the big thing it does, is to make a 5-year plan for the country. This last 5-year plan that we made, the 12th 5-year plan, which we made 2 years ago, in the preparation to it, we felt that we really needed to understand our own country, and not just to take economic numbers and say, well, the trend says this and the trend says that. What's really happening in the country? What are the forces that are shaping this country? And how can one understand those forces without asking people, business associations, NGOs, civil society organizations, state governments? So we did the largest consultation exercise with citizens of the country that's been ever done. And I've been going around the world since then and listening to others about how they consult citizens and talking about ours. And they say it's probably the largest consultation exercise, systematic exercise done in the preparation of a plan by any country ever in the world, in which we had about 955 organizations that were our partners for the consultation, to organize to listen to youth, to organize to listen to Dalits, to organize to listen, as I said, to business, small, large, to organize to listen to the transgenders, of whom there are 5 million in this country who feel they never heard. So that we just poked around everywhere and said, everyone in this country should have a right to be heard about the country. And that's the only way we'll understand what the country is. So from that came, this is like, you know, the blind men around the elephant. You hear things and see things which surprise you, but they are part of the whole. And as you put it all together, you get the shape of the whole, the shape of this country, the forces shaping this country. And as we got these, we then system modeled them, meaning what causes what to happen amongst these forces. The outcome we want is faster growth, but that's an outcome. That outcome results from certain actions and conditions inside this society, this economy, this polity, which creates the growth. So an economist alone, economic metric modeling cannot tell you what to do to produce the growth, but this now told us what is the root cause. And what we found was that the root cause for the slow growth of the country in the last few years has been a growing mistrust of citizens in the institutions of government and in the country, including business. And because of that, they are not supporting actions that the government wishes to take, because they have no confidence that these actions are in our best interests. And they have, of course, no confidence that the systems are clean even, that actually they're not just not being run in our interest, they're being run in somebody else's interest, and including big business are making a lot of money out of this. And this has resulted in what you're saying is the policy paralysis. On behalf of the citizens, the Supreme Court has had to intervene, public interest litigations, the right to information enables people to find out. This is a cleaning up, and this has resulted in the policy paralysis. Root cause is the institutions of the country are failing the citizens, one. Second is, things don't get done in the country. When you want something done, it's just not done. So, going out and asking you people to please invest in this country, I mean, you're wise guys. You're saying, I had invested in a project. It is not moving. Why would I put bad money after, or good money after bad money now? Yeah, I wouldn't do this. So just selling the idea that India is a great place or opening up further to FDI is not going to make a difference. India is very open actually to investment in almost everything in terms of policy. But in effect, we are not getting in the last few years the monies that we need to invest to grow the economy. So here we have the two root causes which are stalling the growth of the economy. One of them is the deterioration in the institutions of this country, which needs to be reformed. They need to be reformed. And the other is getting things done. Now, it's interesting that the political agenda, the agenda that is the one that's being offered for choosing the best candidates for the next government, are I will clean up the institutions and I will get things done. You can see that, right? But of course, we said 3 years ago, this has to be what has to be done. Now, since this has become the agenda, and people will choose now the leaders who will be able to deliver against these agendas or this agenda, I have confidence that things are going to move in the country. Now, I will not talk about the institutional reform agenda. It's a substantial part, but since the time is short, I will not talk on that part. I will talk very quickly about the agenda to get things done. As I said, projects are not moving. Policies don't get formed, or when they get formed, they get unraveled and stuck, which is why investors and yourselves have no confidence that this country will move fast and you want to put your money into it. Why are things stuck in this country? Why are things stuck? So many bottlenecks. As we look down into the root causes while making the plan, by the way, as we went into making this plan and we had these consultations with through these 950 organizations, and we consulted, numbers totaled up to some several million people's voices in some systematic fashion, and opinions had been heard. As we summarize, what are people saying? I remember this last beautiful thing, the head of one of our industry associations was sitting in the meeting, and all the others were also mentioning. And he said, what I've heard is people are saying to you in the Planning Commission, don't make another plan, just get things done. Or make a plan to get things done. So figure out what's the plan to get things done, and that's what I want to talk about. So we found that things are not getting done. Why? Because there's so much contention amongst people. You can't come to an agreement. And you think you got an agreement where somebody who wasn't properly included in that discussion says, but I oppose it. And so it's unraveled again. So much contention, that's one. The second is, even when there's an agreement that this should be done, confusion. There is no plan in a coordinated way to get it done. As compared to other countries, you'll say, well, there when it's decided, it looks orderly, there's no confusion, it is done. This is not the general Indian condition. So, root causes, contention amongst stakeholders, confusion amongst agencies that have to together get something done. Can one do something about these root causes? And that's where you start getting practical, and that's the plan. Yes, of course you can. If you can find the methods to convert confusion into coordination, and people start applying them regularly, systematically, there won't be that many bottlenecks. And we won't have to go up to the Cabinet Committee on Investment to sort these things out. I mean, they are done in the first place. Project management is learnable, teachable, and so. So as a contrast between India and China as learning systems, in 2000, both China and India determined in separate ways that they need to be better at project management and getting things done. And I've got these statistics which really are worth noting, that in India, since then, there have been some 85 persons, organizations, who've been certified as International Standard Project Managers. China, starting at the same time, has 10,500 now. So even implementing this idea that you have to be better project managers, there's a project to get it done. Yes, not here. So one can learn to do it, and one should do it. The other part was the contention, which is upstream, as you will say. Unless people first agree, there can be no objective to which you make a plan, are there techniques and tools to enable people to come to agreements when they have to come to an agreement? And of course, there are too. These are applicable, these are learnable. And if we as a country, argumentative India, learn to do this better rather than arguing better, we could also move things faster through that. So we created from the Planning Commission a plan, which is called the India Backbone Implementation Network, which is an idea for India to apply, Indians to apply wherever necessary, better techniques and tools to create collaboration and to create coordination so that our intentions will get converted to implementation and will produce our results. Worth exploring, right? Japan was a country which was similar to India after the war, that things didn't seem to happen on time. It's interesting. I mean, I've gone back to that literature too about Japan in the 1960s. We don't think it could be, but the trains never used to run on time. Meetings never used to happen on time in Japan in the 50s and 60s, early 60s. When the Americans came, they were a bit frustrated with it. And Japanese goods, if you remember, you're old enough perhaps, so to say, they say, you know, it's like very cheap stuff, but it doesn't last, it doesn't work. Yeah. Within 10 years, Japan was a different country. Absolutely, things happened on time. It became the hallmark of quality in almost everything. What changed was something called the total quality movement. And what was that? That was people in their own workplaces, in their own organizations, were applying a set of techniques whereby they could improve what they were doing to make it happen certainly, on time, least cost, without waste. So that's a model of a movement where people can learn to apply better methods of them working together to get a better result. So we have taken this set of tools, or we're developing further the tools to do with collaboration into, contention to collaboration, and of course coordination out of confusion, and on a model of a network like the TQM model was, to let people in the country learn them, develop them, apply them further. So that's why we're calling it the network. It's not a central planning organization which will make people do things in that fashion. You can't. People must want to get a better result and say, well, if you're offering me something which can enable me to get a better result, I shall try it. It becomes another case, and so it goes. And that's where we are, and it's rolling out, and I want to thank FICCI for taking the initiative to be a good member of this network, a special node, in which FICCI is going to, in a few days' time and early in February, run a meeting here. And what's this meeting about? In the last 3 months, FICCI has put out, with our help, request for examples and papers of projects in which, by systematic development of collaboration and planning, results could be achieved, which otherwise one wouldn't have thought possible. And of course, there are examples of this in our country itself. I mean, you can look at the Delhi Metro and say, well, it's the same country. But how come this happened before time, and certainly, and pretty high quality too? So if you ask Sridharan, he says, it's not a matter of me, it's the method that was used that produced the result. So even in our own country, there are cases, and from outside, there are many. But we don't want just the cases. We want the method that was used. So that could be a teachable method, a learnable method, and then you can grow this movement further. So at this seminar in here, we are getting out of these papers that are presented, the best of them, with the best teachable, learnable methods of converting contention to collaboration, and of course confusion into coordination. And we want to showcase these to the country and then make them widely available through the network, like the TQM movement in Japan did for quality tools, and say, we will make a difference. Okay, we will make a difference. So I want to end with this note of confidence, actually, not just hope now, that it shall be done. It shall be done. And I would hope that our fellow Indians, yourselves who come from elsewhere to India here today, would be supporting us in this idea of the India Backbone Implementation Network, to make this a model just like TQM Maker became a model for Japan, which people shall talk about 20 years from today. So there was a moment in India in 2014, 15, and 16, where something was learnt in that country and done in that country, which made India overtake China. Thank you.